Hello everybody, you're at home on the tools with James, and today we're building a bike. So you've got yourself a bike, it's come in a box, and you need to build it. So I'm going to give you some quick tips, some tools you're going to need to get the bike together successfully yourself, and to make a young boy or a young girl very happy with the bike that you've put together. Added benefits of putting it together yourself: you're going to know how to service it. You're going to be able to adjust the handlebars, you're going to be able to adjust the seat as they grow. There's a heap of good reasons to do this thing yourself, and very easy to do at that. So what we might do is go through what tools you're going to require for the job, and it's just some basic tools in this one. Again, the recommendation always is any money you can save doing this stuff yourself, roll it into investment for tools, so you've got it for the next project. To put a bike together, pretty simple. It actually tells you on this one what we're going to need. We're going to need some Allen keys, 4mm through to 8mm. Pretty straightforward stuff there. We're going to need a spanner set. It says 8 to 17mm. Flathead screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver, and it is recommended to use a torque wrench. You don't want to over tighten Allen keys or bolts on a bike. You can do some real damage. I do have a torque wrench here today, but certainly it's not a necessity. It's just a nice thing to have. So without further ado, let's crack into it. So I bought this bike on Bicycles Online. They're basically a bicycle dealer. It's on an online shop, as the name would suggest. And they sell a lot of bikes that you can't get in the stores. And the particular bike that I'm unboxing here today is a Polygon bike. And the reason I went with this one is it's an aluminium frame. And my young son who's getting this bike is only 6. And the aluminium frame's nice and light. And you'll find a lot of the bikes come in high tensile steel, which is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with a steel bike, but just beware that they are a little heavier and they can be subject to rust, and they're usually a little less quality, but that's totally fine. You work with what's in your budget. So in the box, we've got a box within a box. I'll open that one. So we've got our box cutter. Didn't mention that off the top. You're going to need a box cutter. They usually pack these things really well. There's always zip ties involved and sticky tape. The old box cutter comes in handy, that's for sure. So we'll have a look in here. Anytime you get something coming in the mail that you've got to assemble yourself, it is always a good idea to check off your parts list first before you go hooking into it and then finding out that you're missing some key parts you need for the build. There's nothing worse than having a half-assembled bike and then not being able to put it away. This bike here, very fortunate, and you know I love new tool day. I love getting new tools. And this bike, fortunate enough to come with a really cool little toolkit. So we've got a bike spanner here, Bicycles Online, thank you very much. And we've got a multi-tool. Now, I've got mixed thoughts on a multi-tool. I'll show you there what they look like. So we've got a bunch of screwdrivers in there, we've got a bunch of Allen's keys. What I like about them, they're great on the trails when you're out riding and you get stuck and you need to get yourself home. This will do the job. But when you're at home and you've got a full toolkit, I always recommend using the proper full tools that you have. It's just better. These things are really just for getting you out of trouble, but they're absolutely handy to have. So we've got another one of those, which is great. Got our spanner. This will do the wheel nuts. It'll do, no doubt, the head stem and all the other bits and pieces. That's really cool to have. We've got our pedals in the box, so not just nylon pedals on this. My young fella's 6 years old. Nylon pedals will be totally fine. As he gets a bit older, he might find he wants to get aluminium pedals. They'll do for now. And then we've got all our reflectors in the box as well. Up to you whether you put these on. My young fella's going to ride on a BMX track on these, and I don't think I'll do that to him. I'm sure the mums out there are saying, quick, put the reflectors on the bike, James. And then we've got our owner's manual. So really nice in the front there. We can refer back to that. Always use the instructions if you're unsure. They will tell you everything you need to know. All right, so in the box here, I've got the bike. I'm going to take it out. Pretty well packed. We've got the bike frame here. Now what I'm going to do is I've got a lot of other bikes. So I've got a bike stand in the background here. I'm just going to put it on the bike stand and give you a bit more close-up of what I'm doing. So we've got the bike out of the box and up on the stand, and these stands are really handy. if you are into bikes and you've got a lot of bikes, this is a bike hand one, this one. I think Park Tools make a pretty good one as well. But I find this is really handy for when I'm working on my mountain bikes. Gets them up off the ground. It means that you don't have to flip the bike upside down if you're changing tyres or putting tube sealing in or lubricating a chain. And I just find this is really handy and makes it easy to work on. So this bike comes pretty well much assembled, so it's a pretty easy one for us tonight. Just need to put the front wheel on, the handlebars, etc. But I did want to talk through just what a torque wrench does, and it is actually quite important. You'd be totally fine if you did all the bolts, all the Allen's bolts up, just with the tool that came with the bike. That would be fine. But if you do want the bike to actually be set up really, really well, like a bike shop would do, I suggest grabbing one of these torque wrenches. Now this is pretty cheap. This is an eBay special, $30. It's designed at bikes. Comes with all the bits that you need that'll suit bikes, the right sizes from basically 4mm through to 12mm in the keys. And then in the instruction manual, it's really straightforward. It gives you a list of every torque specification for the bike, so you can really dial in the bike and get it how you want it, how the manufacturer recommends that you set it up. So it's pretty easy to use. It's pretty self-explanatory. You've got a dial on the back here, and if I bring it in close, it will tell you what setting you're on, how many newton meters of torque you're on. So this is a really good one just to dial in and then and get your bolts tightened up right. It is particularly important if you're working with aluminium and carbon fiber, because you don't want to clamp down too hard on those type of metals because you will do damage. So I'm going to put the bike together. We'll run through it, and then we'll have a look at what it looks like when it's all done, and a couple of tips just to finish it off. So when your youngsters jump on the bike, they can have as much fun as possible. So there we go, we've got the bike together. Pretty straightforward, probably small build like this took no longer than sort of 10 minutes to put together. A couple of last things to mention just on the bike before you get too carried away and get your son or daughter out on the tracks. Tyres, we've got to pump them up. Always a good idea with kids to put some slime in the tyres as well. So, trying to get the kids to work out what's a bindi eye and the three-corner jack out on the trails can be a tough one, and when they get the tyres flat, often that's it for the bike for a while. So the slime is a good option. The other option you can go is tubeless if you want to spend a bit more money. But a good option for you if you don't want to be fixing bike punches too often. So you do need a bike pump. I've got a really good floor pump here. It's a Joe Blow. It does a ripper. It'll say on the side of the tyre wall what to pump it up to. These are 35 to 50 PSI, pretty straightforward. I'll pump them up pretty high so my little fella can zoom along pretty quick. The other thing that I would recommend is good quality lube for your chain. The chain will go rusty if you don't keep it lubed, and it will make quite a lot of noise and you get excessive wear. So lube your chain. You can get these from any store. It's pretty straightforward stuff. But get the lube on the chain. And the other thing would be just to make sure that the brakes work really well before you let them loose on it. Just do a really good check yourself. Wheel around the yard, make sure they pull tight, they're not dragging. You got your adjusters on the handlebars here. Pretty straightforward stuff. And obviously check over all the nuts and bolts that you didn't have to tighten, just to make sure that they're right where they need to be. And then have fun. Go and enjoy it. Thanks everyone for watching. You've been at Home on the Tools with James. If you liked the video, would love a like, and if you feel like subscribing, that would be great too. I'll see you in the next video.